So it's back to Premier League action. It's Saturday. There were two early kickoffs. I watched the game at Vicarage Road, Watford at home to Newcastle, and team news. So Maximus and Alan Moron were back. They were rested in the week with slight injuries. A blessing in disguise, really, considering the hammering that Manchester City gave the Magpies. Linton was back on the bench. Watford looked just about at full strength, really. First 10 minutes, really, Newcastle were pressing most of the time, and nothing particularly clear-cut. Almiron had a half chance, but saved by Foster. Shelvey was looking impressive with his long passing, moving the ball from side to side out to the wing. And then on 22 minutes, they got their rewards, Newcastle. Richie Cross was flicked goalwards by Fernandes, and it looked like it might just go in the corner, but Gale nicked in to make absolutely sure with the final touch. And so that was 1-1 for the Magpies. Response from Watford was promising. 2 minutes later, they had a raid on the Newcastle penalty box. Not convincing defending by the Magpies, and Dubrovka came to the rescue to deny a good goal-scoring opportunity. 29 minutes. Newcastle again looking dangerous. Another corner from Richie, but Foster managed to punch this one, but it inadvertently flew over his own bar. Could have gone anywhere. 34 minutes. Gale again prominent, fed at St Maximin on the right, but his shot hit Foster's legs and was cleared. And then 40 minutes, Watford pushing forward. And Sarr, who was coming into the match a bit more, fed Welbeck, but his header was easily cleared. And then another scare for Newcastle 3 minutes before the break. And this time there was a number of shots from Watford blocked, and the ball was cleared. So first quarter definitely for Newcastle, but Watford improving as we reached the break. Newcastle, though, ahead by 1-0. Into the second half, and another half chance for Gale, but he managed to loop it over on 49 minutes. And then there was a break by Watford, and Femini was clipped by Richie in the box. The referee pointed to the spot. VAR agreed, and Deeney stepped up and smashed it down the middle to level the tie 1-1. And then from then on, it was Watford in the ascendancy. A couple of minutes later, Deeney gets the ball after some slack defending again, but this time he shot it at Dubrovka. Up the other end, Welbeck did have a half chance. He started to look sharper game by game, but his shot was deflected over the bar. And 63 minutes, Watford pressing for a second. Corey had a shot that went just wide, but much better from Watford in their approach work. And 71 minutes, Newcastle still looking dangerous on the break. Linton put through by Gale, but Foster was alert out of his area to snuff out the chance. And then finally, on 79 minutes, a second poor piece of defending by Mankia, and again this time he brought Sarr down in the box. Referee awarded a second penalty, and you'd have it known, but Deeney stepped up, and it was almost an identical strike, just slightly to the goalkeeper's right, but it was in the net, and Watford had gone ahead by 2-1. Final 10 minutes, Not really any clear-cut chances for Newcastle. I'm sure that Bruce will be kicking himself, really, how disappointing they were after looking promising early on. But for Watford, and particularly for Nigel Pearson, a really encouraging fight back. And the final score at Vicarage Road was Watford 2, Newcastle 1. So the second early kick-off for the day, and this was at Carrow Road, Norwich at home to West Ham. Well, basically Norwich had to avoid defeat, otherwise they would be slipping through the trap door into the Championship. West Ham, of course, not safe either, so they were desperate for the points. Norwich, Cantwell's still on the bench. He's obviously fallen out of favour with Farke, and I read the other day that Dortmund are interested in him, so his future looks promising, even though he's with a doomed club. Haller and Lanzini were still on the bench, but Noble reinstalled into the starting 11. 7 minutes, and Antonio threatening on the left, and he fed Sucic, and his effort was a metre wide. And this began really a highlight show about Mikel Antonio. 10 minutes, Antonio met Cresswell's cross and poked it in beating Krul, but Krul managed to somehow push it out when it looked like it was going to be 1-0, but it didn't stay goalless for long. Just over a minute later, Antonio met a corner on the volley following a flick header from Diop, and he whacked in the volley into the net. Absolutely no doubt about this one. And so the Hammers were up 1-0. 29 minutes, a half chance for Norwich. Hernandez from a Lewis cross, but it went tamely wide. And then on 41 minutes, another promising effort from Sucic, strong volley, but this time Krul was alert and he pushed it over. That was from a Noble cross, and Noble was becoming increasingly instrumental in the best moves that we saw from West Ham. Of course, Noble is their captain. He's been with them for years, and he's shown his experience. We got into added time in this first half, and it was Noble again on the ball. His free kick found Antonio, and his glancing header flew in the corner, and that was 2-0 for West Ham. So to the second half then, and we hadn't played that many minutes. On 53 minutes, Noble again instrumental, and his delicious clipped through ball over the top. Antonio far too quick for the defenders, and he got his foot to the ball. He brought it down, ran into the box. His shot was blocked by Krul, but it was fortuitous as it came up ideally for Antonio to have a second effort, which he did. He headed the ball over the despairing dive of Krul, and the ball bounced into the net, and that was his hat-trick, and that was 3-0 to West Ham. Now, to add salt to the wounds for Norwich, 73 minutes, and Antonio on the 6-yard line, he again managed to be quickest to a Fredericks cross from the byline. Guess who provided the great pass to Fredericks? Yes, you've got it. It was Noble, and that was 4-0, all 4 to Antonio. He's never scored that many in any league match, and that was the final nail in Norwich's coffin. Final score at Carrow Road was Norwich 0, West Ham 4. So to the clash at Bramall Lane. Looking forward to this one, really. Sheffield United against Chelsea. For the Blades, while he rotated his front men, McBurney back up front, and McGoldrick recovered from a slight knock, put Mousset and Sharp on the bench. They're still a bit out fleck though, Osborne deputising for him. For Chelsea, Giroud was on the bench with Kovacic, and Pulisic up front with Abraham. Zuma keeping Rudiger out at the back. Still, we haven't seen Kante for a while, but early possession from the Blades, first 5 minutes. And then on 6 minutes, a clever cross from the right by James, and Pulisic at the far post headed across, but it went wide. Then 17 minutes, Sheffield United, who looked very good on the eye, to be frank, and they pinched the ball from Chelsea near their box, fed it out to the left, to the far post. McBurney rose high, and a great volley brought Kepa into action, but he could only parry it away to the inviting McGoldrick, who pounced and put the Blades 1 up. Great cross from Baldock set that one up. And on minute 32, they doubled their lead. This time, a direct header from McBurney hit the corner of the net. Another neat move on the left involving Stevens, who evaded Willian and got to the byline. And it really showed up that Chelsea's defence is looking very, very porous at the moment. So it was 2-0 at the break. Lampard brought on some changes. He brought on Giroud, and he brought on Alonso. Then it seemed to make a bit of a difference. An early effort on 64 minutes, Pulisic had a shot blocked. And a few minutes before that, a free kick was blocked by the wall from Barkley, but struggling up front, Chelsea as well. They weren't creating much chances, although Giroud had added an extra opportunity to the attack. On 71 minutes, some good build-up this time from Chelsea, but the final shot by Azpilicueta was blocked and went off for a corner. And then 76 minutes on the counter, Sheffield United, and McGoldrick fed Mousset, and his cross was scuffed attempted clearance by Rudiger. It was really poor, and McGoldrick was there to gobble it up, and he lashed it home, and that put them 3-0 up. 2 minutes later, a Giroud header forced a save from Henderson. But on 81, Mousset was one-on-one with the keeper, but he lifted it wide. And it was a great pass from McGoldrick, who was having a great game. They were really solid in defence, Blades, to be perfectly honest. And Chelsea really lacked a cutting edge. So it's no surprise that the final whistle arrived, and Sheffield United had beaten Chelsea by 3-0. So match 3 then, the champions Liverpool at home to Burnley. Shaqiri was on the bench for Liverpool. I haven't seen him for some time, long-term injury. Klopp selected Jones, and I think Henderson was injured, but he was selected ahead of Chamberlain. For Burnley, Vidra on the bench, Wood now fully fit and restored alongside Rodriguez. And early opportunity for Jones. His shot was rather tame though, and it was pretty easy for Pope. And this started an avalanche of efforts by Liverpool, and Pope was absolutely awesome between the sticks. 12 minutes, a nice run by Mane, and he fed Firmino, but the effort was blocked. And then a Salah volley on 17 minutes forced a great save from that man Pope, and it certainly was an inspirational performance from him. Then 20 minutes, another effort from Jones was blocked and it ricocheted wide. 32 minutes, Salah again, but foiled by Pope. Are you getting the gist of it? 33 minutes, Robertson popped up on the right with a powerful header that did beat the keeper. It was a cross from Fabinho, and finally the Reds had got the goal that their possession deserved. So Liverpool won up on 33. Between minute 40 and 43, I witnessed a couple of half chances for Burnley. McNeil missed the first and Rodriguez the second. They were half chances though, it has to be said. Last minute of added time, an amazing save from Pope. Mane's goal-bound shot looked certain to go in, and somehow Pope managed to flick it wide. A tremendous save. So it was only 1-0 at the break into the second half, and the pattern continued. Firmino did hit a post on 48, but it clearly had scuffed his shot. Then we had minute 61, 3 shots in a row from the front line, and the third by Salah went wide, but efforts blocked by defenders and keeper. And then on 68 minutes, that rare opportunity for Burnley's front line, and a smart shot from Rodriguez on the break, and it was a long ball that came to him, and he levelled the scores at 1-1. On 86, Gudmundsson hit the bar, and Alisson was guilty. His punch was not good enough, and it went straight to the Icelander. But before that, once again, constant pressure. But more shots from Salah and co after that chance for Burnley, but their defence managed to keep them out. Tremendous goalkeeping performance by Pope. Final score at Anfield, Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. So to the Amex then, the final match on Saturday's fixture list. Brighton at home to Manchester City. Brighton have had a rough ride with the fixtures of late. They got humbled by Liverpool here at home, and Manchester United made short shrift of them the other day. So they weren't looking forward to this clash. Mopé and Stevens were on the bench, Grob and Connolly up front for the Seagulls. And for Man City, David Silva and Foden were on the bench. Mendy came in at left back, and Rodri partnered De Bruyne in midfield. No Gundogan, and Fernandinho, he's still suspended. So into the action. 16 minutes. Sterling managed to lay the ball back to Mendy, advancing quickly into the box on the left, but his shot was blocked and it went wide. 20 minutes, finally the breakthrough. A sweet assist from Jesus after some great work down the right from Walker, and Sterling was there to finish it off. He found the corner of the net, and that was 1-0 to Man City. 25 minutes, a raid down at the other end, and Trossard, who's been in good form, got his shot away, but it went slightly wide. And then another opportunity up the other end, Jesus into the penalty area, and his effort on 35 hit the bar. 36 minutes, Mahrez, who was looking very impressive, a cross shot which went just wide. And then a couple of minutes before the break, a corner, Rodri glancing header, and he found Jesus at the far post. He was a couple of yards out, and he stuck it home, and that was 2-0. And that was the score at the break. After the break, a tremendous De Bruyne free kick on 50 hit the post, and then on 52 minutes, a classic City move. De Bruyne fed Mahrez out on the right, and his pinpoint cross found Sterling. Sterling headed it home for his brace. That was 3-0. It got worse for Brighton, and Bernardo Silva, I didn't quite recognise him. He seemed to have a slight change of hairstyle. But anyway, he managed to prod home his second effort. He made the initial shot, which had been blocked. And then Jesus very smartly touched it back to Bernardo, who didn't miss a second time. That was 4-0. Ryan really at fault on that one. And then right near the end, Sterling managed to get involved again, and it was the 5th goal. Yeah, I've got it now. Sterling managed to get the final touch when he was lying flat on the floor with his head, and it crawled over the line. 2 defenders close to him, but they made a right mess of it, and so that was 5-0 to City. Comprehensive win. Fortunately, Brighton have probably got enough points now, so they are safe, but they won't want to see City for a while anyway. Final score at the Amex: Brighton 0, Manchester City 5.